Welcome to the official summer episode. This is the commemorative summer episode, Summer 2020, the greatest summer of all time, on the podcast, The Franchise. I am your king of summer, the D Train, the beach train.
And I'm the guy who thinks summer's like, okay, summer's all right, you know, more of a winter guy. But I know that I don't have really an affinity for the season of any season like Dan does for summer, man. There's just nothing like it for him. He's got T-shirts. He's got sayings. He's got posters and mugs. Everything about the summer. Have a summer.
Well, the summer thing is from Howard Kramer, but the summer is from me. The
summer's for you, man.
That is my season. It's the season I come alive. I'm looking at shark plates right now in my room. You want to eat off a paper plate? Might be in the shape of a shark.
That's pretty awesome.
Uh-huh.
Wow. How big is the plate? Is it literally that narrow? Did you eat hors d'oeuvres off of it? I'm picturing like
I think it's more for like you cut up a cucumber on there.
Oh, I see, like an hors d'oeuvre.
Yeah,
sure.
Maybe you put your crackers in there when you're eating cheese.
Got it. So much like Jaws eats Quint, it's for tiny food in a big...
Jaws was, I believe, the first commemorative summer episode of the podcast that we recorded, Henry.
I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, we did Independence Day, we did Hard Bodies, we did Weekend at Bernie's, and now let's add another classic summer franchise to the pantheon. I say summer, it doesn't take place in summer, it almost exclusively takes place during the school year, but I'm going by vibe here, Henry.
Sure. Yeah,
and when I saw this film for the first time in June of 2018, I could check my letterbox. I could tell you the exact date I watched this, Henry.
Yeah, I did check that.
I knew that The Kissing Booth was one for the ages. One that I will be watching summers for the rest of my life.
Wow.
Here it is, June 8th, 2018. I remember watching it, Henry. Here's what happened.
Okay.
I'm dating somebody, okay? It was a Rachel.
Yeah,
right? One of the Rachels.
Right.
And I was, we were in her apartment, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And what was going to happen was she had to go into work for a few hours. And I was just going to hang out in her apartment until she got back.
Sure.
All right? So this whole day, up to the point she has to leave for work, we're hanging out. We're sitting on her couch. We're watching MTV.com, okay? Because she has gotten me into watching old episodes of The Hills.
Okay.
You remember The Hills? Spidey. Lauren Conrad.
Yeah. I actually do.
Audrina Patridge. Okay?
Sure.
Whitney Port. Yeah. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You got it? Stephanie
Gary
Pratt.
Coleman.
Okay?
Right.
I could do this the rest of the episode.
I know.
I should.
Well,
Brody Jenner. Okay. Kristen Cavallari. Henry. Anyway, we're watching The Hills. And what keeps happening is on the MTV.com website, you get ads, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And boy, did we get some ads. Every single ad break, I'm looking at a Kissing Booth ad here.
Is that right?
They're really pushing the Kissing Booth on the MTV platform, understandably, I guess. In this trailer, Henry, is a shot of young Joey King at the beach.
Yeah.
And she absconds with her clothes and strips down to a lovely blue bikini.
Okay.
All right. Now, Henry.
Yeah.
I'm no pervert.
No.
I'm no pervert, Henry. When my girlfriend left to go to work, I Googled Joey King to make sure that she was of age for me to perv out over. I learned that she was 19 years of age. Too young for me to date, Not too
Right.
young for me to perv out over, I submit.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. At least you're being honest. Okay. Yeah.
Then I went to Netflix
Yeah.
and I put on The Kissing Booth and
Mm-hmm.
I geared up for a good time. I don't think I was prepared for just how good a time. All right, that sounded gross. My pants remained on the whole time.
Yeah, I actually didn't take it like that.
Okay,
I
I'm
took
glad.
It more like, yeah, I don't want to infer because I don't want to give away opinions.
I'm
But
just
yeah.
saying, this to me, 5 minutes in, I'm thinking this is an instant summer classic.
Right, right.
I just wanted to rewatch those 5 minutes. I was like, there's an hour and 40 minutes left for me to savor.
Yeah, there sure was. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. So you saw this before you saw her in well, no, you had probably seen her before, Joey King, right?
I
You'd
was
probably
familiar with JK,
The
be-
Conjuring.
but yeah, as a child, I knew her as a child actor.
Right.
When I first saw her in The Kissing Booth promos, I did not realize it was the same person.
Yeah, obviously.
But we had covered her twice on the show, Henry. She was in Independence Day Resurgence.
Right.
She's a Roland Emmerich regular. She's been in a couple of Roland Emmerich
Oh, really?
films.
That's great. I like it.
And she also played young Talia al Ghul in Dark Knight Rises.
That was
Superhero
on TV today.
count.
Yes, that is a superhero count. That's right off the bat. I'm glad you mentioned it. Yeah, she's the young Talia al Ghul. That's right. That was on TV today. I don't watch movies on TV, but I
Probably
found
on
myself,
TV at all times.
Yeah, AMC. I found myself watching some of it, ads and everything, in between waiting
Why
for
would
the
you
VP
do
announcement.
that?
Because I was waiting for the VP announcement, and so it was kind of just like that type of flipping.
I would never watch television.
Yeah, well, I turned it off. I mean,
You'll
I
never
couldn't-
catch me watching television for the rest of my life. And I just bought a television.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, great. I'm happy for you. Good
Thank
for
you. It's large.
It's about time. If it's anything like your other one, then I imagine it is.
It's big, 43 inches. I bought it specifically because it comes with Roku technology, and my cord is cut.
Yeah, well, I know. It has been. Yeah, it has been. I'm looking forward to inheriting that vast DVD Blu-ray collection at some point.
To be honest, next time you come, next time you leave your weird haven in New Jersey that you refuse to exit for longer than 30 seconds,
Right.
I've got some DVDs with your name on it.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to need like a U-Haul truck probably, but I could take a
We
few
could
of
go a box at a time.
Yeah, there you go. I'm down for that. That's cool. That's cool.
All
Well, I'm
right,
glad
Henry.
you- Good.
Let's
Yeah.
start talking about the saga of Elle Evans. One of the finest, I would say, film protagonists that we've seen in the history of cinema.
Wow. Yeah. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. It's episode 218.
Daniel Ehrenberg here.
Henry Polly over here on the south end. I'd like to, I mean, Dan picked this franchise, The Kissing Booth. There will be a third. And it was a very unique experience for me. I think Dan knew that it would be, and that was part of his, well, maybe.
Is
part of
it
his-
unique just because you haven't watched a teen thing in a while?
Well,
what's
that's a good-
what's the
that's a
last
good
thing you watched with a teenage protagonist? I don't think you ever do. Even when they're like popular, like critically acclaimed films, like Lady Bird or Eighth Grade, you poo-poo them. Fuck that. I will not watch anything with a lead under 18 years of age.
I don't know. I mean, you kind of are onto something there, but it's a little inaccurate. I mean, I'll watch something like The Florida Project, or
You watched that because Willem Dafoe is in it.
a lot of horror movies have teenagers in them as sideliners, but like in terms of what you're talking about, like a headlined movie just about teenagers, it does have to really probably be made by somebody that I really give a shit about. I mean,
But there have been movies made by people you give a shit about, and I feel
Yeah,
like you
but I
still
don't-
skip them.
I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I mean, it isn't. I am more interested in like adult stories. It's true. It's not really my favorite genre. The closest thing is if it crosses over into another genre I like I said, like Chronicle. I mean, those guys are kind of teenagers, right? Or like Brooklyn or something like that.
Brooklyn. Get the fuck out of here with Brooklyn. First of all, isn't she like in her 20s?
I don't remember. Yeah. Hey, I liked What Maisie Knew.
What Maisie Knew. I'll have you know that my
You still never
parents
saw it?
watched that this summer and they fucking hated it.
Really? Oh,
With
I'm sorry.
every fiber of their beat, like my dad, was vicious about it.
Really, I'm sorry to hear that. It was one of the best movies of that year. Okay.
Henry,
Yeah, it's not my genre.
here's what I like about high school shit.
Yeah, it's your genre to the point where I must say, where I'm watching this and I do kind of just concede that this is something for you, probably like presidential biographies and documentaries are for me. They're just things that you...
I think that's condescending.
I could have picked something else. Pick something else.
Because
I'm
I
kidding.
understand that this is lowbrow, Henry. Presidential biopics. Shut the fuck up. Listen, I like high school stuff because high school is one of the most fascinating places to throw a person. And what my favorite genre of anything is people thrown someplace together and struggling to get along and they don't know what the fuck is happening. And for me, high school movies are it's the same reason I like prison movies. It's the same reason I like anything like that. Disaster films, even.
Yeah, but I think, I wasn't trying to be condescending, to be in all honesty. I can see why that would come across like that, but I didn't mean it like that. I was just trying to think of like genres. And I think that there's also a thing that you seem to still relate to movies that take place during like people's youth and stuff, like high school. And
condescending. This motherfucker.
I'm trying to. I understand. I'm trying to understand. It's just like, look. It's just like I don't go for movies like Stand by Me. I don't go for like I don't.
You're too
I like
good
Freaks
for
and
him.
Geeks. I love that. And I think it's just I'm less tolerant of garbage movies that are put in that setting than I am for maybe more smarter movies. But it's just not my genre.
Now
man.
that is the thing. You're able to get into the top tier high school movies, and that's why if you actually sat down and watched Lady Bird or Eighth Grade, I think you'd really love them.
I'm sure I would.
Yeah, but The Kissing Booth. I wanted you to watch this. Well, really, I just chose it for the podcast because I wanted to watch the second one, and it was an excuse. But, yeah, I'm telling the listeners.
I know.
Henry. Yeah. So, what I'm saying is that this is a lower tier high school movie. It's not that good. It's just for entertainment. It's just for fun. Now, Henry... You can watch something like a lower tier adult modern western like Hostels, where like it's made for like slightly dumber people that like they just love the genre and they'll watch anything within it. Like I am with high school stuff.
Very bad example, but okay, yeah.
It's a great example.
You should have named a different movie.
Okay, Sicario 2.
Can't name anything really. Wow, you're struggling. This shouldn't be that hard.
I'm not struggling.
You should say like Open Range or something. That's a better.
Do you like that movie?
Not really, but it's a better example. No, I don't. But it's a better example. I mean,
I saw something.
Tier.
There was something with Kevin Costner that I saw on Letterboxd recently that was like one of his like real abominable projects, and you gave it a 3.5 stars.
I don't give halves.
Oh, you're right. Then you must have given it 3 or 4. Henry, let's talk about The Kissing Booth.
I didn't imagine this to be going that I would be on the defensive for this particular episode, so I'm going to have to stop restraining myself and go on the attack. That's what's going to have to happen.
Well, I think that's what I was expecting, and so I was already on my defense.
Yeah, I think you were. And then right before we started, actually during the viewings of these movies where I wasn't the happiest camper, I said, "Now, Henry, restrain yourself when you record. He's your friend.
Don't restrain yourself. I can take this shit.
Well, I don't know if you can, and
I don't break down like you when I'm talking about Man of Steel.
I don't really enjoy going on a vicious offensive. That's where we're kind of different. You know that. That's kind of
well, I'm a worse person than you. I know that.
No, that's okay.
Everyone knows that.
But anyway, don't worry about it. I knew when I was watching it that you got great enjoyment out of this. I was just trying to figure out. So that's what I was trying to say in the beginning is.
Could you go on?
Yes, answer, please. Thank you. Fucking talking the whole time. I was trying to put myself in the shoes of someone who would find this entertaining, and then I just had to come to the conclusion that it definitely is something where you are, and not just you, but people who are over a certain age are obviously getting some kind of enjoyment out of this that I just cannot relate to. Like, it's just totally beyond me.
You can't watch this and think, because you know me so well, oh, he'll like that part.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. But, like, I'm saying in a way for me directly, like, there is, like, nothing here for me. There's nothing to see here. Like, you know what I mean? And there's movies like that for you.
Not even Molly Ringwald?
Well, we'll get into that.
What about some of the luscious ladies in the cast?
I mean, they're all like...
They're all like 30, dude.
The music was really bad,
Joey
too.
King's really young. She's like 21, I think, now. But I feel like the rest of them are all like fucking old.
20s. They're old, most of them.
Dude she ends up with, Noah, that guy's built like a brick shithouse, man.
It's ridiculous. I was, I guess in high school these days, are they breeding them better? Is that what's going on? I don't remember people looking like...
I don't know if that's how high school really is. I kind of don't think so, because every time I see high school kids, they're these scrawny ass fucking emo kids. But
you were.
Yeah, for sure. And so, like, but definitely high school TV shows and movies, like the dudes they're casting are way buffer than they used to be.
Yeah, I mean, right.
Like, even when I was a kid, like Dawson's Creek, like Joshua Jackson, he had like baby fat.
Right, and if you look at things like 16 Candles or The Breakfast Club, even, I mean, you got Judd Nelson, and
they look pretty regular.
It's like 31.
Yeah,
or the main type of people you had were like Anthony Michael Hall types and shit, and even Freaks and Geeks. I mean, they really looked, for the most part, like real teenagers.
Even Beverly Hills 90210, which was like a super mainstream show, like designed to be like luxury teens. Like, yeah, you had your Luke Perrys and your Jenny Garths and shit, but then you also had like Andrea. And you had like Tori Spelling, whose face looked like a frying pan.
With that. And the other thing is, I also think it's key with Beverly Hills 90210 was that when that was on, I remember it originally airing and watching it. And when you're a kid, I was like 12, I think, when that came on. You have really no comparison about how old someone looks. So all those kids, to me, were supposed to be only probably 5 years older than I was at the time. And it was believable to me. It's like, oh, yeah, Shannon Doherty, she's probably 17 in real life.
I know. It's unbelievable. I totally believed Luke Perry was 17, and he, like, died of old age 2 years ago.
8 seconds, am I right?
Holy shit, dude. You could have used another 8 seconds.
In 8 seconds.
I love 8 Seconds. That's a good movie. John G. Avildsen, Henry.
Holy shit, I don't remember that.
That's right.
What a weird... Okay.
It's like any of his other movies. It's just, rodeo.
Competition. The big competition at the end. Yeah.
Okay, Henry, the kissing booth.
Let's get started on the kissing booth.
Okay. Now this Film got started as a great novel. I've not read it. It was written by a 17-year-old girl. No, she wasn't that young. She was like 19 or something.
I saw 15.
No, that's bullshit.
That's what I read.
What is this? Naomi or Nikki Reed? Am I right?
Well, I mean, you've explained
Remember her?
some of this. No, who is that?
She's that little girl who wrote 13.
Oh, the movie with Holly Hunter and
Yeah.
Evan Rachel Wood? Really? Was that like a really young girl who wrote that? I didn't.
It was like she was like 15, and she was writing about her experiences from like 2 years ago.
That's a really good movie that I liked.
She was in the movie. She's the girl who was Evan Rachel Wood's best friend.
Wow, I don't remember that. I saw that in the theaters. I thought that was really good. There you go. There's a teenage movie I liked.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
You were like, I can't wait to see Holly Hunter.
That was before the Evan Rachel Wood Renaissance.
Well, that was her first role, I think. It was like introducing Evan Rachel Wood. That would be a good one for the introducing podcast I want to do.
That's right. That's right. Introducing. Yeah.
The
Ides March.
All right, Kissing Booth. So Beth Reekles is this teen's name. She writes the novel. She publishes it on Wattpad, which is a thing where you self-publish your bullshit and people can read it. And people liked it. It was bought by a main, one of those majors, Random House, Penguin, Hachette.
Wow. Yeah. Cambridge University, Oxford Press, Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble Classics.
Yeah, Barnes and Noble Classics.
Okay. So 2014 is when it's published. Netflix purchases the rights to it a mere 2 years later.
Wow.
All right?
Wow. Really got on that.
They
All
did.
right.
And let's get going. They hire a fellow by the name of Vince Marcello.
Yeah, an Italian fellow. I noticed that.
Yeah. I feel like this might have been a case where we could have used a female director, but
I wondered that myself as soon as I saw it.
because this whole first movie is just a Joey King and her bra and panties delivery system.
Yeah, delivery system. Yeah, it was peculiar to me, but I mean, I've seen a lot of weirder stuff, so weirder things have happened, so I just didn't really question it much. I mean, it did go through my head like, what is this?
He shoots this fucking Netflix teen movie like it's Hard Bodies.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I was surprised by the vulgarity. Every time they swore, I was still surprised.
Yeah, he throws in a shit here and there.
Isn't there even a couple F-bombs?
There's two.
Yeah, I thought so.
Because I wrote down the first time because I was like, oh, that's their one F-bomb. But then there's a second one. Netflix, they don't give a fuck.
They're great. Great people.
All right, so this fella, Vince Marcello, he gets his start, of course, directing films about the American Girl dolls.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. There's McKenna Shoots for the Stars, okay? Sage Paints the Sky. Isabel dances into the spotlight, and Grace stirs up success.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a hit list. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
He's also a great writer. He probably got this directing gig on the strength of his scripts for the Teen Beach films for the Disney Channel. Those were big hits, Henry.
Okay. All right. Do I have access to those on Disney Plus?
I believe you do. I believe that you do.
Okay.
You've been using my code?
No, not since The Mandalorian, but I still have the app.
You still can, man. There's stuff going. Watch Hamilton, bro. Watch Beyonce's Black is King, where 1 year after that shitty Lion King movie came out, she decided, hang on, I got more to say about the Lion King.
I got to tell you, I would watch both these Kissing Booth movies again over watching Hamilton once.
Well, you and me both.
Well, yeah.
All right, so let's talk about, Vince Marcello. He's our director and writer. This movie drops on Netflix May 11th, 2018, less than a month before I watched it. Boy, they pushed it though, because about a month later, still pushing the shit out of it on MTV.com.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember it popping up on my. Well, it probably wouldn't pop up on mine. You may like.
Well, no, this would have been on your front page, man. This was a big release for Netflix.
Yeah.
I remember after this movie came out, Netflix reported like this. Not only is this one of their biggest hits ever, they think that The Kissing Booth might be one of the most watched movies on the planet.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
They said 1/3 of everybody that watched The Kissing Booth once watched it a second time. And now I'm one of those people.
Yes, you are. I mean, look, goes to show you the appeal for this kind of stuff is out there. I'm just not the target audience, I guess.
Henry,
close-minded curmudgeon like myself.
This film was nominated for some awards.
Oh yeah, which ones?
Kids' Choice.
It's the Kids' Choice Awards. It's KCA to you, but it's the kids making the choice, yeah.
KCA. I just got that. It's Kids' Choice Awards.
I guess that's what I was going for.
KCA.
Yeah, these things just happen. They come out of my noggin. I don't know. Does it need to be heard again for the people at home?
Sure.
Okay.
It's the Kids' Choice Awards. It's KCA to you, but it's the kids making the choice, yeah.
Great stuff. All right.
I see what I was saying there. I say it's the KCA to you, but it's the kids making the choice.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
I guess, yeah, that's what's really going on there. It's
wow.
Like, to you guys, it's the KCA, but it's the kids who are making the choice. You got to deconstruct these things. There's some hidden meanings that are a little hard to find on first or 12th listen.
Yeah, man. We got to do something like that Hitchcock Truffaut book, where it's just us interviewing each other about
I love that.
all the great minutia of the franchise. All right. I want to welcome everybody, by the way. I assume there's people listening to the show for the first time with us covering the Kissing Booth.
How nice of you. I try to do that every once in a while. You frown on it. I agree. We should introduce people and say welcome. We hope this is your first episode.
You know what Stan Lee said, Henry?
What did he say?
Every comic is somebody's first comic book.
Well, very wise.
That's why at the beginning of every issue Stan Lee ever wrote of Spider-Man, it's like, well, once when I was 15, I got bitten by a radioactive spider. It gave me the proportional expansion speed of a spider. Yeah,
It sure does. You're right about that. Wow. Yeah.
Henry, this film, Joey King, the great Joey King, who I genuinely believe is a future Emmy Award winner.
I think you're probably right on that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I didn't like that reaction. Are you going to talk shit about Joey King on this podcast?
No,
I truly will not be accepting of that.
No, she's fine. I don't really see the big deal from this movie, but I could see in the act that praise being heaped upon her.
Henry, she was nominated for Best Actress of the Year at the Kids' Choice Awards. All right? She was nominated against Emily Blunt for Mary Poppins Returns. All right?
Me. All right.
Scarlett Johansson for Avengers Infinity War.
Oh, all right. Sure.
Lupita Nyong'o for Black Panther.
Okay. All right. Sure.
All right? Right? She was in that?
Yeah.
Okay. Rihanna for Ocean's 8.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Zoe Saldana for Avengers Infinity War.
Okay. Wow, a lot of superhero stuff in the KCAs.
And the winner of the Best Actress of the Year, I am so happy to report Joey King, The Kissing Booth.
Wow. That's an honor.
The KCAs loved her. The kids made that choice.
Not you. They did,
They did, yeah.
and that matters. Yeah.
This was also nominated for Best Picture of the Year, Henry, but it lost to Avengers: Infinity War. They truly do love superheroes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Are you ready to get into this labyrinthine plot?
Yeah. I'm excited. You're gonna be on the horse for this one, taking the reins. I'll be following along. And right before we start, I was going to do this at the end, but I think this is a better time because it kind of sets up a little bit of our show. All right?
What do you got?
It's this email from our longtime friend, Matty Rags, and he poses some questions for us that I think will be informative.
I'll answer them right now.
Okay. Good evening, Henry. I could have left that out, but I didn't. He calls me one of his favorite podcast hosts, which is very nice.
One of, because I'm in the equation.
Well, but he neglected me, he said, so he wanted to throw me in there. All right, anyway. Given part of the joy of watching the Kissing Booth franchise is imagining your reaction to the inanity of a saccharine Generation Z high school rom-com, I figured...
I take such offense to so many words in that sentence. I'm sorry, go on.
No, it's okay. I figured I'd take this opportunity to pose a question to you that might give the events of these films a real-life practicality. First, do you and Daniel have numbered rules to your friendship? And if so, and if you feel comfortable sharing, what would be some examples?
No rules. It's specific to the great characters of this film.
Okay, but I mean, I think he wanted to know if, as buds, we had any rules. I don't really think we do. We probably just have the standard rule: don't date each other's.
Yeah,
ex.
no, for sure. Because Henry has multiple exes who I would definitely have tried my very hardest to fuck right by now, and I have not.
Yeah, it's kind of just everyone who's a good friend, their rules. I don't think we really have anything else than that. Secondly, this is a good question.
What do you got?
This is a great question. Would you consider that the franchise is your two's Kissing Booth? An idea crafted in the blazing forge of friendship that transcends beyond your control into a concept that gives the most unexpected of people joy.
Yes, I would. And frankly, I believe that we've gotten just as much joy out of the podcast as ultimately Elle and Lee do out of the Kissing Booth.
I think you're right. You're right on that. We realize the charity that we have given to everybody and the great gift of laughter that we have beseeched all of you to listen to. Well, I was getting to the bestowed. We have beseeched you every week to listen to upon our bestowing this great humor upon you. But yeah, it's true. I think that's a great analogy, Matty Rags. It's just the Kissing Booth of the franchises that are out there.
I just saved it for later in the show, but I enjoyed the email.
Henry... I think it was good, and he did wish us fun recording the episode, even if the franchise was indeed torture. That's obviously meant for me. I haven't said it was.
I certainly hope it wasn't. Henry, it begins on some very, very fast exposition via voiceover from Joey King, reading those lines as fast as she can, cutting back and forth to many things, learning about these two main characters' entire lives in less than 4 minutes. What a great sequence.
Oh boy, you're not going to make this easy for me. We do get a lot of that rapid fire teen dialogue, and we even get some subtitles, right, in crayon over that, like pointing us out to who's who.
Oh, yeah, a little bit of that, yeah. There's honestly too much story. Like, I would have cut out the whole thing with Elle's mom dying. That never really comes to anything.
Yeah, it doesn't, actually. And there's really no... I mean, they could have still made her kind of close to Molly Ringwald, but she's not really that close to her anyway. She's really not.
Why didn't they just make Molly Ringwald her mom?
Or just keep her mom alive and have Molly Ringwald in the exact same role, and it would all have worked out, too.
They could have cast Ali Sheedy.
Perfect. Judd Nelson is the dad. Emilio Estevez gets in there.
Nah, Emilio wouldn't do it.
And
Who of the
Anthony
Breakfast
Michael-
Club? Who of the Breakfast Club would participate in the kissing booth for?
Oh, well, first of all, Anthony Michael Hall would definitely.
I don't know if he would.
Judd Nelson's not doing
Judd, I think Judd would. I think Molly Ringwald, of course. I think is Ali
I don't-
Sheedy retired at this point?
I don't think Ali Sheedy would come back for something like this. And Emilio's too highbrow now, right? He's a director.
Yeah, he's a filmmaker.
Hey, did I like any of his films? Yeah, I liked one of his films.
I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they're great achievements, utterly necessary to watch.
You've seen them. You've probably.
I've
seen
never seen a single one.
them. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you only made like 3. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I knew what I was in for.
Oh
right
wait,
away.
I saw that HBO movie where they're porno guys. Didn't he direct that? It's him and Charlie Sheen.
Oh wow,
It's called Rated X.
Oh, I don't remember that at all. Wow. No, I don't remember that. Okay.
Okay, so Elle and Lee, they're best friends. They've got the rules of friendship, as we said. There's a lot of rules. We don't know how many there are, but I'm surely they can fill many sequels with more rules that are Deus Ex Machinas to the plot.
Right. Right.
And Lee has an older brother named Noah who is, I mean, let's be honest, totally hot.
He's got that shag.
He's
going
so
on.
hot, this guy,
That
bro.
shag going over his head. And all that.
He's they dated in real life, you know.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, people were very invested in that for a while.
I read that far. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
I got to that.
He's
point,
still
you know?
playing the teen. He's on the Euphoria now on HBO.
Well, he looks young. He doesn't really look like a man. So I mean,
that dude, he looks like a man. What, the older brother?
I mean, he just looks like a kind of stuck in between Taylor Lautner type.
He looks like a man to me. If I saw him walk into a modeling agency in Manhattan and I was the secretary of the modeling agency, I would think he was like 26.
Huh. I don't know. Maybe it's age.
The younger
age-
brother looks like a child to me and apparently is older in real life.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay.
Isn't that wild? Some guys, they just like never look fuckable.
Eloquent as usual.
But
Yeah.
I think about that. I feel like there were some dudes like that in high school where they just like never grew past a certain height. They never really were able to grow beards. They
Oh, yeah.
they weren't exactly thin, and I was just like, who's fucking you?
That's sad.
Like, I'm sure someone is now.
Right.
Everyone gets fucked.
Absolutely. There's somebody for everybody. Somebody finds something attractive on somebody. But you're right. Yeah, you're right. I was quite happy to be out of my high school body. You know, I was, it's nice to become like an adult. It's a nice thing.
You don't want to be inside a high school body?
What was with the so yeah, okay, so wait a second. Let me stop you right at the beginning as
Yeah.
we're doing the plot. So these two come up with these rules when they're 6 years old.
Listen, they came up with them when they're 6 years old. I don't know that they weren't amended over time. Because I know what you're about to say. They're living their whole lives by these rules in both of these movies. And it seems crazy. And it does. But I'm wondering if, like, they can't just now even, like, throw in amendments to that shit.
So it's like the Constitution. They can throw in a Bill of Rights at the age of 12 and make some changes.
Yeah, because at 6, you're not going to come up with, like,
The
don't
boyfriend thing. The
Don't
girlfriend
greet me hello with a kiss on the cheek after you just sucked my brother's dick, right? Like, that would be a rule
Rule number
that I
29.
don't think they'd come up with when they were 6.
I don't really think they would come up with a lot of these. I don't think they'd come up with "you can't date my brother" at 6. I don't think you'd even think of that. I mean,
But
you're
can't you see that? I can see it. Don't date a family member. It doesn't say specifically my brother.
first grade? who's even thinking about it?
I was. I remember being in pre-kindergarten, Henry, and I sat Indian style next to a girl named Jennifer, and I tried to make our legs touch.
Okay, all right. What's that line from Annie Hall? For heaven's sakes, Alvy, even Freud speaks of a latency period.
All right.
It's a good quote, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
This is a weird reaction. You should be like, oh, it's good. It's a good quote.
I feel like you're not allowed to quote Woody Allen movies these days.
You're still watching his movies. What are you afraid of it? Come on.
Yeah, I know.
You can't quote his movies. All right, fine. No more quoting Woody.
No, you can, I guess. I don't care. They love to dance. That's something we learn about them. They were born on the same day. Let's go back and forth. What are facts that we know about them?
Well, they love that game that I used to see all the time in the old arcade, and I never tried. I never played that. Well, you know what I mean, a version of that game.
Yeah.
I never played the dancing game, the dance off. Was never my thing.
Dance Dance Revolution was the name of the game.
Is that what it was? Did you play it?
A couple times. I mean, I was okay at it, but like I don't really love to dance, so I didn't do it that much.
Yeah, it's right. I never had any desire. But yeah, so we know that they're the same age. Their moms were best friends.
That's right.
Okay,
What else?
Joey King's mom died of beauty illness.
Of movie disease.
Right.
She died of the same disease Ally McGraw died of in Love Story.
And Deborah Winger in terms of endearment, and yeah.
Hey,
sure.
hey, Henry.
Yes, sir.
Are you talking terms?
I think I was talking terms. I mentioned terms, which I guess means I'm talking terms.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt a feather go by my head, and that's all that was happening.
Okay, so Noah is the older brother, Lee is the younger brother, and they're the Flynns.
Yeah.
And we first see them as adults with Noah getting back from football camp at the end of summer, returning to their enormous Flynn compound in the heart of Los Angeles.
They're very, very rich white people in this movie.
Yes.
Very wealthy.
Now, I assume that the kids have adopted their mother's maiden name of Flynn as their father's last name is Bezos.
Holy shit. I didn't really think about that. Okay.
This house is crazy. And the pool, they have like an Olympic-sized pool in the backyard. It's wild.
I mean, they're very wealthy. I think that probably also turned me off, though, right away, just because there's no stakes at all.
You know, that's another problem I have with modern teen shit, Henry. They're all mad rich.
I agree. I mean,
it's been like this for years now, ever since the OC. That was like the first thing with like rich kids. But like when I was a kid, that's bullshit. Beverly Hills 90210, of course. But
yeah. But they used to sometimes have like a disparity and show the difference. Like even in The Breakfast Club, you had Judd Nelson, who was dirt poor, mixed with Molly Ringwald, who was wealthy. So you'd at least see kind of the two sides of the track. But lately,
in Dawson's Creek, Katie Holmes' dad was in prison.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. She was like living in this tiny little cabin by the water, and she had to boat over to Dawson's, and everyone was very concerned that her older sister had been impregnated by a black man.
Wow. All right. Well, see, that already piques my interest.
Ooh, you should watch The Creek.
More than something where, there's just these kind of snotty, annoying, privileged kids,
Well, I mean, no one's snotty and annoying of our main cast. They're all likable and I have problems with Lee. I'll be honest.
I do too.
Yeah.
Lee's a problem child.
He's sort of a devil. He's a little devil.
He's a whiny little bitch. I can't stand
listen to this guy.
I don't like that guy. I don't like the OMG girls at all.
What?
I don't think they have very little redeeming qualities that I thought might come to the fore at the end. I thought we might get a
But
little.
Henry, in a high school teen movie, you need 3 hot girls that walk in a line with the whitest of them out front.
That was for sure. Got the black one to the side.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
these are the OMG girls. Olivia, something...
Mia.
Mia, that's right. And what's the G?
Was it Gloria?
It's definitely not Gloria. That's an old lady name. Mia was recast in the... Gwyneth, good call. Mia was recast in the second one. Did you notice?
No, they looked exactly the same.
They did not. I vastly preferred original Mia.
I didn't notice. Yeah.
All right, so the OMG girls, you need those characters, Henry. They're great. I really enjoyed them in their first scene where they strutted into the cafeteria, talked to Elle for a little while, and then left, leaving behind 3 banana peels in their places. And Joey King says, "When they eat those." That's a good joke.
See, I think that you appreciate the cadences and the witty repartee of a teen in a movie like this with the stylization. You dig that. You can get entertainment out of that. It's hard for me to. There's no subtlety whatsoever. I mean, it is a movie called The Kissing Booth on Netflix, so I wasn't expecting any kind of Apatowian humor here, but it was tough for me to find a laugh here. But
okay. So, but let's go back to Noah coming back from football camp, Henry.
okay.
He sees Elle and immediately says, "When'd you get the boobs?"
Right. I remember that moment.
So
Yeah.
this is what we're coming to learn is that she has developed over the summer.
Yes.
That's a thing
Right.
that happens.
It is. It is a thing that happens. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
so
he's commenting on it. Yeah.
it's time to get to school. She goes home to change out of her to put. Well, no, I guess it's like a couple days later, right? And they're going to school.
Yeah, I believe so. And
It's
she's
the
gotta put
morning.
on- yeah. Yeah, she's got to put on her school uniform.
But Henry, she splits her pants.
She sure does.
What
which
does she do, bro?
She puts on a skirt,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, I was trying to figure out, even at this early stage in the movie, how someone, even like her, who is, I believe, smart in the movie, they depict her as a smart person. She's not like a dum-dum. Would wear this skirt and not
Henry, she
think-
got into Harvard. She's very smart.
That's a great point. Would wear this skirt and not think something was wrong. You know?
Listen, she only was wearing it until her dad could deliver her laundered other skirt. I understand this because one time when I was in day camp, Camp Jubilee in upstate New York, Ferndale, I was using a stall in like a shitty cabin bathroom, okay?
Sounds great. Yeah.
And here's what happened. I'm sitting there. I get up to wipe. Okay? I flush the toilet. And I'm wearing my bathing suit bottoms. Okay?
Okay.
And that's all I had.
Yeah.
All right? The toilet explodes all over my bathing suit bottoms. Okay? Just toilet water. Okay?
Oh, man.
I've got nothing to do. I call out for help. A counselor. I say, please don't embarrass me. All right? So he's only...
said that?
Yes. He's going to ask just... Because some of these kids were bullies, Henry.
No shit, of course. Yeah.
I'm thinking about you, Ian. Are you listening out there, Ian?
There you go. Perfect name for a bully,
You
too.
piece of shit. I wish I could remember his last name.
Fucking Ian.
Something with a P, maybe? I don't know.
Pissant.
Yeah. All right. So, he asked just my friends who if they have anything that I can borrow. You know?
Okay. Sure.
So he asks this kid, Gabe, Henry. He loved to rollerblade. I asked him if he had anything that I could borrow, and he had a bathing suit. Success. Okay? But here's what I didn't think about. This kid, Henry, he was
big.
he was tall.
Oh, okay.
He was very tall.
Yeah.
All right, so no, it's the opposite. He's very skinny. Gabe. I was thinking of someone else.
No, great story. Go ahead.
Okay, so I go to put them on, and they are too small. Okay, but I had nothing else, Henry.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I had nothing else. I put them on. All right, they went all the way up to my crotch. All right, just like the skirt in the kissing booth. All right, it was less sexy.
So you look like an old Italian man on a beach.
Yeah. And then we go to the blacktop for lineup at the end of the day, and everyone gets on the bus, And my sister is a camp counselor. Ooh. She sees me, okay, and she's friends with my counselor, and I see her go over to the counselor and go, "How could you let him come out looking like that?"
Oh, so she had your back.
She had my back, but also I had been convinced that I looked normal.
Right.
They had all said it's fine.
She shattered that illusion by saying, yeah, oh boy, yeah, that's rough. Yeah. Oh, you still look hurt.
Ian really, he threw rocks at me.
He threw rocks at you?
Just pebbles, but yeah.
Kids are...
It was one of those things I acted like I didn't notice.
Well, of course. So that's what you got to do sometimes when you're trying to understand as a kid how to handle a bully. Well, if it's any consolation, Ian is probably doing one of two things today. One, he's probably in prison for life.
He seemed like a potentially prison-bound person.
Or two, he's a billionaire running a very, very powerful company.
He was really stupid, dude. Like, unless he grew up to become like Guy Fieri, he's not.
Hey! Hey, your pants are too short.
All right, so she goes to school wearing this, very sexy. It looked like porno skirt. Like, you ever watch a porno, Henry, and the girl's wearing a skirt, and you're like, that's silly.
In the plot of this that I'm trying to watch, yes, I'm not even buying this fantasy because that's not even believable. Yeah, sure, of course.
Okay. All right, so they get to school and the OMG scene happens, and Tuppen is a character that we meet. He's great. I love this character.
Ugh. Fucking irritating to look at, irritating to his fucking hair.
I thought he was cool. He looked like a soccer hooligan.
He looked like this Auburn Carrot Top. I mean, he was ridiculous. This 15-year-old pituitary case.
He looks sort of like MJ from The Challenge. I don't know, Henry, if you've ever seen the middle 10 seasons of the Real World Road Rules Challenge.
The middle 10?
Yeah.
Okay. I might have missed 6 and 7, but yeah.
Okay. That's a shame. I think you missed MJ.
That's not even a joke, but that's a great sentence. The middle, I don't know if you've ever seen the middle 10.
Well, because there are like 30 seasons, and he was in the middle 10.
Right. Wow. Okay. All right.
Okay, so there's going to be like a carnival, a school carnival.
Right.
And since Joey King, L, and Lee are the heads of the dance club in school, which consists of only them, which is ridiculous. There'd be like 1 million people in that club. They decide to pitch a booth for donations, and they pitch a kissing booth, Henry.
Yeah, and
the titular kissing booth.
So why don't you explain how? Oh God, I can't believe him. How does this now work to attract people there? Because I found that interesting. Like, it's not enough that they have a kissing booth; they actually want an attraction to it.
What are you talking about?
Well, they want Noah to
Yeah.
be.
Well, the OMG girls are only willing to let them set up the kissing booth if she's able to get Flynn, which is what everyone calls Noah, to be one of the kissers in the booth. They only want top shelf talent here in this kissing booth.
Right. So it's kind of like the kissing booth itself is incidental to who is going to be the ultimate prize.
Well, they want to kiss Flynn.
Right.
I don't understand why they haven't already. Isn't it like at the beginning of the movie, it's widely known that Flynn will just like fuck anybody, right?
Very true. Very true.
He's got a rep, and these three are like the most popular girls in school. Why hasn't he fucked them?
I don't know.
I feel like in real life he'd have fucked them all at the same time.
Maybe because, as we come to find out through 2 movies, he's a very deep thinker, and he's not interested in their shallow antics.
That's right. That's true. He got into Harvard, too.
He, of all the things that strained credulity in these movies, that was one of them. I was actually genuinely surprised that they expected me to believe that.
I gotta say, Henry, I'm with you on this one. I was blown away by this plot development because early on, so it's at the very end of the movie. He gets into Harvard and he goes off to Harvard, and that's where he's going to be in school the next year. But my whole thing is early on in the movie, I feel like it's well established that he's kind of dumb. He's getting back from football camp, which granted doesn't mean anything. But at one point, Joey King sees him reading a book and literally says, "Reading a book, huh? I didn't know you knew how to do that."
Yeah, and he's also just, I thought, had a rep as a bruiser. That's all this kid does is fucking constantly get into fights. So,
Yeah.
I mean, where's the intellect supposed to weigh in here? And of the 2 brothers, I got the impression. I mean, you don't get much about studying from Lee, but
Yeah,
I
so
was
Lee's the dumb
presuming
one
he's
and
right.
the ugly one? Jesus, this poor bastard. No wonder he wants to keep L for himself.
Yeah. No, it's funny you said the ugly one. That's another thing about these 2 movies. I didn't even think about it till you just kind of triggered that. There's not really in either of these 2 movies, besides some like overdone, very Friday the 13th nerds. There's not really any ugly people in this high school.
You're nuts.
Nobody's
There's plenty of ugly people in this high school. There's that one curly-headed guy. We see him pick his nose a couple times.
I was thinking of, and that's who I meant by the Friday the 13th overdone nerd. But
I think
really,
Lee's ugly, too.
I'm sure that many girls would probably disagree with you.
Yeah, they're ugly, too.
Well, it's not. Corn had some ugly people in it. That's a movie with some.
Are you kidding me? I'd fuck Malachi over this Lee kid.
At least Malachi maybe had some supernatural powers or something.
Yeah, he probably had a pretty sweet fire crotch, bro.
Oh, right. Oh, God. I can't. Ugh, I had to put my drink down.
Okay, so Tuppen grabs her butt.
Tuppen.
And Noah immediately comes over and beats him up. I mean, it's so apparent right from the start of the movie that he's obsessed with Elle.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious.
It's ridiculous.
Pretty obvious. I thought that was an interesting matchup because it kind of looked to me like Tuppen could easily be a match physically for Noah there. He's like instantly down. He's like,
he wants to go out with Elle. I feel like he's gonna split her in half.
And but I mean, like Tuppin's just like, I'm. Oh, no one wants to fight. I'm no match for him. Forget it.
Well, that's why Tuppin's kind of my favorite character in the movie. Like, he's an asshole for grabbing her butt, but I sort of like the way he just goes with the flow.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, okay.
He even showed up when he stood her up for that date, and he like showed up later to the date and was like, "Hey, bro, like I totally wanted to date you. I was down, but like Noah asked me not to."
Tuppen.
Yeah. I mean, he'd be the MVP if Joey King doesn't exist.
I have another MVP, but all right.
I'm interested to hear it, Henry.
Sure.
Okay, so they get detention, all of them. Tuppen, Elle, Noah. All right? Yeah. And Tuppen is flirting with her in detention while the teacher sleeps. He was reading a funny book. Do you remember what it was?
No.
It was weird. I don't remember. Anyway,
Okay.
they and so they make a deal. Tuppen shows up to detention in that tiny little skirt, bro, and she will go on a date with him, much to
Right.
Noah's chagrin.
Yes. Very laugh riot scene. Yeah.
Well, I thought it was great. Tuppen,
Okay.
I'm telling you, this guy's easygoing.
This is so hard. This is one of the hardest episodes I've ever had to do. Ever. God, I'm a nice guy. Do you ever just stop at yourself and think, what a nice friend Henry is? Like, what a good
But you're
guy.
full of shit. I've watched so many movies that are just as frustrating for me to get through.
I know, Blade Runner 2049.
Yes.
I know. I thought of that one when I was watching The Kissing Booth. I was like, is this what Dan was feeling when he had to watch Blade Runner 2049? And then I just couldn't put it together. I couldn't put it
I had to go to
together.
theaters to see that shit, man. You can at least just pull this up on Netflix.
You did do that. You did do that. Yeah, if I would have had to go to theaters to see this, there would have been some problems. There would have been some issues. Yeah.
I'd love to see
Although-
this in the theaters one day. If there's ever like a marathon of the 3, maybe when the third one comes out, I would go to that.
That'd be like what? Since they're each 3 hours long, that's like 9 hours of your day, man.
Very enjoyable hours.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right.
Anyway.
So after that date debacle, Henry, the parents of the Flynns are out of town.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
That's right.
Bezos, he's got to be at the Met Ball or something, and I assume that's what Jeff Bezos does.
Probably avoiding taxes or something. Yes.
He's out scouting in Long Island City for Amazon's new headquarters, and fucking, they have a party, big party at the Flynn compound. Okay.
Yeah.
So Joey King goes. She's psyched to be there. She's ready to have a night of drinking. Okay. Noah is there. Still a little upset about her going out with Tuppen. He is off making out with a goth girl with a lot of facial piercings, who pops up again in the second one.
Yeah. I gotta say, now that I think about it, not too happy with the demonization of the goth culture in these two movies. Boy, is she an evil one. They don't give her much redemption.
But
She's
here's
just like kind of an old school version of like what people almost like 1980s, like the goth girl, like that she's not like now. That seems a little dated. Like
you know
right
what?
Now she'd
Goth-
be fucking cool.
listen, Henry.
Yes, sir.
I'll have you. Did you happen to notice during the graduation at the end of The Kissing Booth 2, there was a very brief moment between Elle and the goth girl where they sort of seemed to have made amends?
Yeah, they exchange a look. I
That's
believe,
right.
like
And so, to me, that was enough redemption.
Okay.
I'll shoot down every one of these criticisms.
I bet you will, and I have no shield. It's been demolished.
There was a line about, do you think Flynn will do The Kissing Booth? And she goes, there's a better chance of turning Miley Cyrus into a nun. I thought that was a little outdated. Miley Cyrus hasn't been a slut since like 2013.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, and these do take place in the contemporary time of 2018 for sure. Correct?
Yeah, listen, Miley's moved past that shit. Bangers was a great album, but she's like working with the Flaming Lips now, all right?
You got to remember when this was written as a feature novel by this...
You assume that line was taken directly from the novel?
Could have been. Why wouldn't it be?
I think that's a Vince Marcello original.
Vince Marcello. All right. Really? You think he had that much? Let me put my 2 cents in here. Hey.
Henry.
He's eating his Italian hoagie.
That's what you pictured, just him on the set?
Mr. Marcello, hey, throwing a Miley Cyrus a whore line. She's a whore.
If you deliver it right, you can have a bite of my gabagool. Henry, this looks like a great party, doesn't it?
Honestly, it kind of does.
There's
like a lot of fun.
Air hockey, video games. Joey King gets blackout drunk and takes all her clothes off on a table.
Jello shots,
Jello shots. These taste like green, right? That was a good joke.
Yeah. And these taste like pink.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So she gets blackout drunk, wakes up the next morning in Flynn's bedroom, thinks perhaps they fucked, but he just put her to bed, man. He's a good guy.
Yeah, so we're told.
He is. He never cheated in the kissing booth, too, despite what she thought.
No, I meant so we're told that nothing happened. But
what do you think happened, bro?
I don't know. Something might have happened.
Yo, in those middle 10 seasons of the Real World Road Rules Challenge, these two dudes were banned for life from the show for, diddling a passed out girl with a toothbrush.
Goodness gracious.
So I hope none of that happened.
With a toothbrush?
That's right.
God, guys are so fucking weird.
They're just disgusting, aren't they?
They are. Oh, God. All right. So she wakes up. She's wearing his shirt, right? He gives her a shirt.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And then when she's leaving the room, he's all like, hey, I need my shirt back. And she starts to take it off right there. I'm telling you, just any excuse to show her without any clothes on.
Well, it's weird, though, because, like,
there's one scene where she's just, like, on the internet. Like, she's just in her bedroom on the internet. That's the whole scene. Yeah. And she's not wearing any pants.
It's very strange. Like, in that weird way, you do wonder about the demographic, because there's so much skin for Joey King in this movie, and she's aware of it, right? Like she helped to get this made. I read.
I don't know about that.
Inaccurate. Well, but did she have any? She would have some. I don't know. I'd be curious as to why she would agree to that kind of stuff in this proverbial teen movie, which I guess is aiming for a teenage audience, but seems like most of the dialogue is written more for like 11 or 12-year-olds.
It is hard to it's sort of hard to reconcile with Joey King's public persona, where like she has discussed many times in interviews about how she's a serious actor, and like she hated the criticism she got from like her young fans for shaving her head for the act. And and she considers Patricia Arquette her mentor as an actor. And, like, it just seems odd. I mean, maybe just because this was such a good role for her. Like, this was a real breakout role, and maybe she knew that. Maybe she had her agent in her ear telling her that. I think it's there because the movie was trying to appeal to literally everyone in the world. It was such a massive hit for Netflix, and it's trying to be such like a mainstream film that like I really think they kept it chaste enough so that young girls could still be into it, and fucking pervy enough that dudes want to watch it too. Dudes like me who see the ad on MTV.
It'd be a nightmare, though. I mean, you and me don't have kids, but like, be probably a nightmare if you're a dad and your daughter watches this. And
are you kidding me? A nightmare, and make in the next hour and 45 minutes of my life a little easier. I'm gonna spend some quality time with my daughter.
And then she's gonna like want to dress like that. You know what I mean? When the movie,
that's what people dress like now. It's fine. If I ever have a daughter, she'll probably be slutty. It's fine. Like, I have two nieces right now. They're 3 years old. They're unbelievably pure, and they'll be sucking dick in 10 years. And you just have to be okay with it.
You're horrible.
But it's true.
No,
it's just the fact of the matter.
I know, but you shouldn't think about that. You should enjoy the 3-year-oldness.
I do. I enjoy it.
That's good.
I prefer this.
You prefer what? This movie?
No, I mean, like, I prefer my nieces being just young and beautiful and amazing than sucking dick, but it'll happen someday.
Than the headache that they will become.
Yes. All right, so let's get to the carnival, bro. There is a scene where she parades around the boys' locker room shirtless because she gets in a paint fight with Lee.
Right, and she says,
goes into the boys'
wrong
locker
color.
room by accident.
Is that when he throws the paint on her and she says wrong color or something like that?
I don't remember. It's just cute. They're making like a banner.
Yeah. The movie took some unexpected turns for me. I did think that really a lot of this movie was going to be set up to show the traditional outcome of a movie like this, where the best friends just kind of realize that they're the ones that are supposed to be together, and it really didn't go that way at all.
It's actually really interesting how unnecessary a character Lee is.
Well, he's just a prick.
I mean, he's just there as an obstacle to the relationship.
He's the most selfish, fucking self-absorbed dude.
He is way more in the second one, though.
Yeah, but
He's
even
shitty in this one. He should be okay with them dating. But, like, I sort of get it from his perspective because, like, his brother does have a reputation for being just, like, a total fucking whore. And so, like, he doesn't want, like, his brother, like, fucking his best friend and then, like, making it awkward every... Like, they have, like, Thanksgiving dinner together.
Yeah, but is it not... But it's in this one, too, right, where he and Rachel start to have kind of sparks here?
That's right. Yeah, she's introduced here at the carnival.
Right.
The kissing
Okay,
booth happens, and basically it ends up with the OMG girls find out Flynn is not going to be in attendance, and they try to sabotage Elle by pushing her out on stage with the blindfold so that she'll kiss like a really gross guy.
Right.
Right. But Flynn steps in out of nowhere and kisses her, and then we get like a big 180 kiss, you know, like the camera circles them a couple times, there's fireworks, everyone, the whole audience claps, they cut backstage, the OMG girls are like, rats!
Yeah. Rats.
Yeah. And so then meanwhile Lee, he puts the blindfold on, and this girl comes out of nowhere. Rachel, another Rachel. She's had a crush on him, I guess, right?
Wait,
So
what do you mean another Rachel?
I've had many Rachels.
Oh, you really? Sorry, you're blurring the line between reality and the film.
Yeah, I guess if I was in the kissing booth, that's who I'd be dating.
Obviously, that would be that would be yours. Oh, okay.
All right,
Yeah.
so after the kissing booth, now Lee is with Rachel, and Flynn and Elle are dating in secret.
Right, that's right.
Mhm.
Yeah. God, yeah, these blurred together. Even though I spent 2 days watching them, I'll have you know.
2 full days the whole time?
Well,
Felt that way.
second one took me about 3.5 hours to watch because I had to keep stopping it.
Okay. All right,
Wasn't
so...
a joke.
Oh, can I talk actually the scene where she's on her computer with her butt out, Henry?
I want you to talk about whatever you want to talk about. I know these are important to you. Go.
I just want to tell you that I wrote down the pro-con list that she's making. This is when she's deciding whether or not to date Noah.
I remember that.
I really enjoyed this. I wrote a picture, Henry. Now, here's what she did. She got out Microsoft Word and wrote pros. She typed in pros in big blue letters and
Sure.
cons in big red letters.
And Ariel.
Looks like it could be Rockwell.
Did you really take a picture?
Yeah, I took a picture. And
Wow.
under pros, here's what she wrote. Hot in bold.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fair enough.
Good
Fair enough.
good kisser.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
Smells yummy.
I mean, these are things that somebody might write.
Okay, now here's what she wrote down under cons, okay?
That's all she had for pros.
That's it, and she ultimately ends up dating him.
No.
So she went with the
personality
pros.
thing. Wow.
No. Just good kisser, smells yummy, hot.
Wow. All right.
Cons, Henry. In bold, Lee forbids it, and then in parentheses, rule number 9.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Next, she wrote, stupid motorcycle. Which I enjoyed.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I'm going to say for the record, that's kind of funny. I didn't catch that. Stupid motorcycle. It is stupid.
Yeah.
I agree.
Then she wrote dad. I assume referring to her own dad. Wouldn't be too psyched.
He would prove.
Yeah, because remember, he drove her home on the motorcycle once, and like the dad was not into it.
Okay. It's the stupid motorcycle that would make Dad not approve, plus probably the...
Next, Henry, he's controlling.
Oh, right, because she wants him to stop, in general, telling her what to do and say.
The whole thing with Tuppen.
Right. Yeah, Tuppen.
Okay, then all we do is fight.
Okay.
Okay? And then in all bold, he's a player.
Yeah, well, sure.
Okay?
Yeah, that's a lot of cons.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, that was supposed to take place at night, Henry, but her computer here says 3:25 p.m. I guess.
Wait. How do you know it took place at night? Maybe she has dark shades in her room.
Bro, I think this was like later that night after the kissing booth.
Who do you blame when that happens in a movie? Whose role is that? We've had these fun discussions.
Listen, they definitely thought about it because they blurred it a little bit, but you can see it.
That's prop guy. That's got to be prop guy's fault.
Yeah, man.
I told you to fix the fucking time.
Reset the time on that computer. That takes 2 seconds, bro.
Probably not a real computer, man. It's probably a prop computer.
Oh, you're probably right.
It's not set up to the real internet anywhere. They're on a soundstage.
I like to believe it, bro.
I understand. I believed it at the time, too. I'm always fooled whenever we see things like that in movies.
Let me ask you a question. Are you telling me Jamie Foxx can't really play the violin like that?
I think he learned the... Are you talking about the soloist?
That's right.
I didn't see that movie, but isn't it a cello?
Oh, maybe.
I think Jamie Foxx definitely sat down. He can play the piano, so, he was believable
Can he?
as Ray. Dude, I saw Jamie Foxx play the piano live when I was forced to.
Was he actually good?
Oh, he's terrible, but he could play the piano.
Right, he knows like the chords. Notes.
Yeah, I mean, he can play a piano. He knows how to play a piano. So there you go. It's when I saw
and
Ray,
that's enough these days. You don't have to be good anymore. Lil Wayne can play guitar, no problem.
No, you're right about that, right? Because, like, back in the
People
day...
just get excited. Like, hey, he writes his own songs.
Yeah, no, you're so right. It's so little that people get excited for now because there's been such a deprivation of people going all in for roles and stuff like that. But, like, you're right. Like, what's a good example of that? Like, somebody who even, like, learns the instrument for a role.
Oh, you mean in movies? I mean...
Real, because there's a lot of those examples.
Yeah,
like
there's tons of shit like that.
They learned the guitar for that, like really learned the guitar and never knew any part of it,
I think Lou Diamond Phillips did for La Bamba.
Is that real? Is that no way?
Maybe.
Right? He learned those 3 chords.
Did Gary Busey learn for the Jerry Lewis? What's that movie called?
Buddy Holly, but yeah.
The Buddy Holly story. I was thinking of Great Balls of Fire with Dennis Quaid.
Yeah. Actually, that's a better example. Did Dennis Quaid learn how to tickle them ivories?
DQ hasn't learned anything since 1976.
Yeah. Very hard for me to believe that he did that.
He takes in no information. That's why he's dating a 26-year-old.
I'm sure when I was a kid that when that came out, I'm sure if I heard it, I bought it. I was like, holy shit, he learned how to play the piano? That's pretty amazing. Wow.
When you were a kid, you bought anything you heard, man.
Yeah. He learned how to ride a bike for breaking away. That's what he did.
But that is you. Everyone's always so impressed by that, man. Like those Saving Private Ryan guys, they went to boot camp, man.
That's fucking bullshit. I remember reading something about that specifically, that movie where, who was it that was making, it was somebody really funny who was making, it wasn't a comedian, it was like a real actor who was like making fun of what they did for Saving Private Ryan because they did like 2 weeks of boot camp and they were all talking about it. You remember that?
That was like the main thing that they were promoting about that movie.
Yeah, they went 2 weeks in boot camp, like big fucking...
How'd they fucking survive, bro?
Jesus Christ. So
I don't know how Barry Pepper got through that, man.
Oh, that's got to be tough on Tom Hanks. You know, he had no amenities.
He was not there. He
didn't go for that?
I don't think so. It was just like Ribisi and Vin Diesel and Matt Damon.
Picture all those guys saying, Tom Hanks was right there with us, man. You know, you look at him like a movie star, but when we went to boot camp, he ponied up, man. He was right there with us, man.
Yeah, bro.
He's family.
What? He is family. He's America's family.
He is.
Henry. Boy. Yeah. Kelly Preston died.
Like a while ago, but sure, R.I.P. Yeah.
I just think about her with Rita Wilson a lot.
In what way?
Just like bad acting spouses of major actors.
Wait a second. I think Kelly Preston can hold anything to her husband.
What are you talking? Listen, JT in the right role is a genuinely great actor.
Saturday Night Fever.
Blowout. Pulp Fiction.
Okay, Pulp Fiction. He's great in Pulp Fiction, but you know, let's not go crazy with praising him for Pulp Fiction. I think that's. I'll
praise
much.
JT all day long, man.
I know you don't have a problem. He grates on me. He grates on me a little bit.
Danny Zuko, bro.
Yeah. Kelly Preston, R.I.P. John Lewis, R.I.P.
Whatever. All right, they go to the beach, Henry.
I genuinely wanted to say something about John Lewis like last week, and then I just didn't. I didn't remember because we occasionally bring stuff like that up on the show.
They're doing a slip and slide.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I know that hit me hard too. It's horrible. It's a horrible thing.
Well, movie related. Watch the amazing documentary about him that I watched like 3 weeks before he died.
What documentary?
Good Trouble.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. You're right. Okay.
In theaters, quote unquote. You know.
Hey, everybody out there seeing that Unhinged with Russell Crowe, gang, go see that in theaters.
That's something that's going to be out soon, right?
I think it's out.
And the Tesla movie with Ethan Hawke, man, I want to check that out.
I'm not going to the theaters anytime soon.
You don't have to. It's all going to be on fucking Amazon. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, right. Okay, so she's at the beach, and she pops her clothes off on that blue bikini, you know. And they're slipping, sliding, and Noah's getting jealous, and, so they get in a little tiff at the beach, but then they make up, and then they fuck for the first time. I assume her virginity is being taken here. And I thought it was a bad look for them. He shouldn't be taking her virginity outside.
Oh, I didn't really think about it. What's the difference?
I don't know, man.
They're in a safe place.
If you're cracking that hymen, do it in a bed.
Dan on some very strict rules he has for the loss of female virginity.
I just think it's weird, man. Like, I don't like fucking on a beach at the best of times, man. It's sandy. It's dirty. Like, shit gets caught places. Like, you're gonna fuck this girl. You're gonna, like, welcome her to the world of adult sex, on a beach?
Well, okay.
Keep it in your pants for 15 minutes and go home.
You're very reserved. You're very reserved.
It's not a reserved thing. I don't care about, like...
Put on a corset. No, it's very lovely. You're very you want to be more a little more intimate, not quite as uncomfortable for the lady at that point.
It felt like a movie thing. It
Thing,
didn't
sure.
feel as realistic to me as the rest of the film.
Yeah, I mean, they could have been in the back seat of a car. That would have been unpleasant.
That would have made more sense to me, though. I mean, he probably has an enormous fucking car anyway. No, he has that motorcycle. That's right, they can't.
It's not what I thought you were going with that sentence at all.
Oh, his dick?
Oh, he probably has an enormous thing. He could have had her from the bedroom down the stairs. No one would have known.
I think it's probably regular sized, medium.
Yeah,
That's what I'm picturing.
okay.
Henry, so they fuck, and next, she sleeps over his house, and she has to escape through the window. She jumps on the trampoline. That's a very fun scene.
Oh yeah, she's bouncing up and down there. So some more man show shit.
You better believe it. And then she lands in the pool, so she's wet.
And then she.
This movie really is
right.
ridiculous.
You're really right.
Yeah.
I guess I just can't. You know what? I think there was so much else for me that was not fun that I just didn't even notice all that stuff with her. You're right. I mean, she really is either scantily clad or soaking wet.
Yeah, I'm surprised this film didn't do better at the Joe Blow Awards, which still in 2020 has a Best TNA of the Year category.
It's always got to be one left standing, man.
Yeah,
in all
man.
In all
They're
the
holding
cultural
strong,
progression.
dude. J-Lo won last year for Hustlers.
God bless. Well, it's not a bad choice. All right.
Okay.
We're still on the first movie, right?
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God, we've been doing this for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so sorry. We'll get through
That's
this
all
movie.
That's all right. I'm gonna have to take a bathroom break when we're finished the first one.
That's
So it works out.
understandable. All right, but we can like dig through the rest of it now.
Sure.
Okay, so we get a big montage of them sneaking around, and then Lee finds out when Elle is helping Lee with his motorcycle, and she falls down randomly and hurts herself in the worst bit of choreography in the film.
Yeah, right. The Bizarro meet cute.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying. Yeah, she's
getting him a
from, like-
wrench, and she just
Holy
falls
face.
from a small height.
That's a very small height. I mean, she's like on a step stool. Oh Lord, yeah. And then, but this is where this also stuff became very unbelievable to me because, I know Lee has these rules, or they both have these rules, and he's very upset when he finds out that they, maybe you're dating or whatever. But he thinks so little of his brother that he thinks that Noah, his first reaction is that, did you hit her? Did he hit you?
Yeah, before he even suspects them of fucking,
Wow.
it's, hey, did you kick the shit out of my best friend?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what does he think of this guy? I mean, wow, that even took me off guard. I was like, boy, that's a fraught, fraternal relationship.
It's
going
rough,
there.
man. I mean, Lee's got to have some element of jealousy, lacking both the brains and the looks in the sibling relationship. But they get in a fight, an actual fist fight, which is pretty cool. And then everyone's sort of broken up for a while until Molly Ringwald gives Joey King like a nice speech. She gets a big scene, that's probably why she did the movie. She read that scene.
Yeah.
And then they make up by dancing because they love dancing. Okay, cut to the prom, Henry. The prom band is on stage. They're performing Van Halen's Right Here, Right Now by Sammy Hagar. I don't understand why, but that's what's happening.
That's not what they're performing, my friend.
Right here, right now.
Look at you. Now, they have a song Van Hagar does.
Oh yeah, right now, hey, it's tomorrow.
That's correct.
Okay,
That's
so
a
what's
terrible,
this one?
Terrible song.
That's a great song. It was in the Crystal Pepsi commercials.
I hate it. Yeah, that's right. This is by Jesus Jones. This
Oh,
song was
yeah.
huge
It was
when I was
big.
about 8th grade. This was a big, big song. They never really did anything else. I remember the music video. He's just watching a TV with world events happening.
Oh yeah, it was one of those. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Runaway Train. Like we're trying
Yeah.
to like shine a light on something that's happening out there.
Yeah, it was a very, very, very deep political music video and song. And anyway, this band is playing that.
Yeah, it's great. So then the prom comes up, and we're wrapping up the school year. Someone mentions the kissing booth, and they get a standing ovation. Pretty great. Noah shows up, tells Elle that he loves her, tells Lee, sorry about what happened on the lawn the other day. He says the other day. I took note of that because in Elle's narration previously, she says that it's been 3 weeks. And she has a big crying scene. They get back together. They get back together. There's like a big costume party so that he can be wearing a mask, and then she can like reveal some shit to him, and he can take it off, and they can kiss. That's very nice. Then he says that he's going to stick around for the summer to date her. She says, "I thought you were leaving for Harvard." We're like, huh? And then. And then that's the end of the movie. We get some bloopers and some deleted scenes, and there's a fart that they cut. All right, that's the movie.
Yeah, I stuck around for a few of the bloopers.
It's a little
Not-
much. I turned them
not all
off
the
in
way
Kissing
through.
Booth, too.
Oh, yeah, I did too. I thought maybe there'd be some information I was going to need to share for the show, but there wasn't. There was nothing.
I just wrote down
Yeah.
the fart.
Right. As you would.
Yeah. Hank, what do you give this film?
This film was not an enjoyable experience for me. I've had to watch worse movies, though. I have. Not many, but I have. So I really don't. But I intrinsically don't understand the value of a film like this. In my record books, this is a 1-star movie.
A 1? Come on, man. Look, I'm torn myself. I think there's a very strong place for movies like this because there's always going to be the teen movies that capture the zeitgeist and stand the test of time and people watch forever. Things like The Breakfast Club, or for my generation, things like 10 Things I Hate About You or Can't Hardly Wait or something. But like, I do think that there's a place for like the next tier, like the slightly shittier ones. All right, so like
Sure, but are you or me the arbiters of deciding for that generation that this is going to be one of those movies?
I think
we're too old.
To me, I think I have let the kids have their say, much like the Kids' Choice Awards. And I think that the kids have proclaimed this a classic, and I must agree. To me, this reminds me, in my generation, Henry, there were the 10 Things I Hate About You and the Can't Hardly Waits, but then underneath that level, there were things like Drive Me Crazy and Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. And I think that this belongs on that tier, and I think that's a respectable tier, Henry. I give this, I think it's a 2 in terms of quality, but I think it's a 5 in terms of the level of enjoyment it gives me, and I'm going to split the diff and call it a 3.
I would hope that you would. I believe your older rating on Letterboxd was a 2, and I was very perplexed.
But in the review, I wrote, but also a 5.
I do remember that. That was very funny. But yeah, you should push it to a 3. You like the movie.
I'm going to push it up to a 3 for sure.
And I can't really give it a 2 because I would never recommend this experience to anybody.
I have recommended it. It hasn't necessarily gone well for me, but I will continue to.
So I love you, brother. You of course you will. Why wouldn't you? Yeah. No, this was this movie sucked. It's terrible in every way. I didn't find it intelligent or thought-provoking or introspective
It's a
or
great film. Who's your MVP?
engaging. Well, I did something I've never done before, I don't think, but I actually have the same MVP and LVP in both films.
Wow. So you want to save it?
Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I should.
Okay. Exciting.
Yeah.
For me,
I didn't
the
think
MVP is Joey King. She is a star waiting to happen, and she has now happened. And I think she's a master. She's just such an engaging lead. I genuinely think that if she's not the lead of this movie's shit.
Okay.
Like
I
she
just-
makes this fucking movie.
I just didn't get as starstruck by her as you did. I didn't see what you saw in this.
I think she's
in this
dynamite
project.
and she's beautiful and she's got a quality about her where like this character has just, gone through a development period over the summer, and I genuinely, she is the type of actress I have learned watching her in things like The Act, who the physicality of the character genuinely means something to them, and I think she consistently plays this character gawkier than she needs to because of that, and I think it's a genuinely really good performance at the center of a fairly throwaway movie otherwise.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I didn't get that from her, but, it was hard for me because I had watched, one episode of The Act or whatever, and it was hard for me to put her in, this, like to see that.
She can do it all.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, so a 3 from Dan, a 1 from me.
And my LVP, Henry,
Yeah.
I can say Lee, but I'm going to save him for the second one because he's really bad in the second one. For the first one, I'm going to say this. Why, if you're going to kill off the mom, her dad needs to be a character. Like, cast a likable guy in this role. Like, have Kevin Pollak play it or something. And, like, have them have a couple heart-to-hearts. Who's this fucking anonymous random guy they have playing her dad?
Weird. That was weird. There's virtually a zero father-daughter relationship going on here, and when there is, it's just kind of this shrumpf.
She literally is the entire movie. She is making every decision. She is just totally on her own. She has nobody to talk to because she can't talk to Lee about the situation. And then she has one heart-to-heart later in the movie, and it's with Lee's mom.
Yeah, it's true. She has like a very non-present dad, or at least a dad she doesn't feel comfortable with clearly telling all this stuff to. Yeah, I don't know. Good point.
Thanks,
Good point.
bro. All right, and that's it for the Kissing Booth. Let's move on to the Kissing Booth 2 after your co-host Henry Papali and the Beach Train, Daniel Ehrenberg, go empty our bladders.
Thank you.
KB2, Henry. It comes out. It finally came out. I was waiting for it, Henry. It premieres on Netflix. It's the #1 movie on Netflix. Kissing Booth 1, #3 movie on Netflix. Okay? Taking over Netflix. What's in between them? I don't know. I didn't look.
I watched something in between them on Netflix's top 10.
What?
The seemingly related Tread documentary about that crazy guy who took a tank in Colorado and ran through the town.
Oh, you know what? I saw that you watched that on Letterboxd, and it was intriguing to me.
It's great. It's really
It's a
good.
documentary?
I forgot about
I thought it
this.
was a film.
Yeah. No. It's a documentary. I forgot about that whole thing. It brought it all back in 2004. I didn't remember any of that.
That's my favorite kind of documentary, like a minor news story that you forgot about, and now it's like, get ready for 2 hours about that.
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons it went unnoticed is the next day something massive in the world happened, and I don't remember what it was, but it got totally blown off the charts.
2004?
Anyway, yeah.
Me graduating high school.
I graduated college at the tender age of 26.
Maybe mission accomplished, bro.
That was in May 2003. I remember I was in a hospital because there was a girl on my softball team who had a mishap at a bar, and we all went to take her to the hospital.
What a sweet guy.
I didn't really want to be there. I didn't know her that well. I just went because I was kind of an obligation.
You know that I met someone recently who worked 8 months at Barnes and Noble. Crossed over with me, and she asked me if I could name anybody that I stay in touch with, and I mentioned you. Instantly knew who you were.
Really?
Yeah, everybody does. Everybody does, Henry. You were a star.
Off air, you're gonna have to tell me who this was. I wonder.
To be honest,
remember her?
I don't even remember her name, so I can't do it for you. But but you might know her if you saw her. She looked vaguely familiar to me.
Jeez. Oh, so one of those.
She's dating somebody in the building I work in. I'm technically not supposed to be talking about this on the air, but they're moving soon.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
8 months she worked at the store?
Yeah, something like that. It was like during the crossover when the management change happened. Henry, the Kissing Booth 2, Vince Marcello, he has sprouted a co-writer named Jay Arnold. They wrote the movie together. This is his only writing credit. I assume he's just Vince Marcello's friend.
Hey, Jay, I'm doing this thing for Netflix. KB2. It's a follow-up to CB4. Help me write it.
I love CB4. You know, Jason Anthony Harris I noticed he watched CB4 recently on Letterboxd, and he gave it a negative review, and I was pretty disappointed.
I don't think I ever saw CB4. I remember it being kind of a big deal when I was a teenager when it came out, but I never
you'd
saw
like
it. Yeah, I might. I just never got around to it.
All right, let's talk about it. Did you know that they shot this movie in South Africa?
No.
Yeah.
Why?
For? Why would they do that?
How is that cheaper?
I can't explain it to you. They flew all these fucking teen actors out to South Africa for this?
That's crazy. I'm looking right now. Yeah, you're right. It's nothing to it here. It's weird.
Yeah.
That's very strange. I don't know what. Maybe maybe that house they wanted a particular view of the Indian Ocean. What ocean is that? Pacific Ocean.
Great.
That's not the Pacific Ocean, South Africa. Is that the Indian Ocean, Daniel?
Henry, you're asking me geography questions?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
I don't know where Connecticut is.
I know. You're not far from it where you live.
I know I'm not, which just makes it even weirder. Okay, so at the end of the first movie, he goes off they say goodbye at the airport. He goes to Harvard, and she says goodbye, and that is it. And this movie starts with the voiceover saying, I'm guessing you might have a few questions about what happened over the summer. And I'm like, no.
I mean, that was my reaction. I thought you would be all in when she said
that.
No,
it seems like she just had a nice summer. And then when she does the montage, like, that's really all that it is.
Yeah, it's just a summer.
Yeah.
It's a summer.
You know, what I did pick up on that I was interested in, she started a podcast about video games.
Yeah, and I actually did, the way it was executed, of course, I didn't find funny, but the idea I found funny when she's interviewing, I think, for one of the colleges, and she says she started a podcast, and he says, how many listeners do you have? And she said 37.
Yeah.
And he goes, wow, 37,000 listeners. It's like 37. It kind of reminded me of you and I. Even though we have
which one are you?
No, I didn't mean the Harvard guy and her. I meant the fact that their podcast has 37 listeners.
Yeah, but are you Lee or are you L in this partnership?
Oh, I didn't mean any of that.
In this podnership. How about that?
Oh, I see.
Do you want to call it that? A podnership.
Podnership, sure. I mean, I would imagine our sensibilities, you would probably be more like L.
Yeah, you better believe it. Check out these fucking titties on me.
I'm surprised they didn't just... Oh, wait, she kind of did have a scene like that in the second one. Yeah, she actually did.
What? She strips?
When she's talking very sexually about Marco.
Oh, my God, that scene. Well, let's talk about it, bro. So she at the as the movie starts, she's having some issues with Noah being away, long distance relationship. I gotta be honest, there's no way this would work. A long distance relationship between a dude going to college in Massachusetts and his high school girlfriend in California. Fucking good luck.
That was very hard to believe. I imagine it happens. I'm sure it does all the time, but
It doesn't.
Be stunned if it worked out.
It's fucking ridiculous. Are you kidding me? I've been in a long distance relationship where she's upstate. You can't make that shit happen. And when I was a senior or a freshman in college, when I first started college, I was still dating someone who was in high school. And it was just like right away, it was like, oh, this is crazy. We're not going to make this work.
Yeah. No, that's tough. So, yeah, I mean, it is unbelievable, but yeah.
All right. Hey, first day of school, Lee brings that tiny skirt. Nice callback for the first one. You like that shit?
That's right. It was very tiny.
Yeah. Okay, so then they go play dancing. And, first let's talk about the Marco guy, right? Marco is a new kid at school, and the buzz is that he's sexy.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of buzz about this, like a lot of buzz.
So much.
I think he's the only good-looking dude in school.
But that would happen, like, because you see the same people every day since, like, kindergarten. Once there's, like, a new person, even if they're, like, a hideous chud, like, everyone's interested in them for a little while.
A hideous chud. Yeah, sure.
It's from Clerks too. Hideous chud. She has not seen Marco yet, and the goth girl from the first one shows her a vid of Marco working out in the gym, and holy shit, look at that cut, bronzed bod, baby.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And he's also, 16, 17?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, definitely. So meanwhile, she starts narrating the video about how fucking wet he's getting her. And while she's saying this, it's on the loudspeaker. And the goth girl knows, but she's just letting it happen. Meanwhile, Lee, running through the school, bumping into everybody, falling over his feet, falling downstairs. Great slapstick from this actor. Incredible stuff. And that happens. I don't know.
That goes on for a long time, that scene.
Everything in this movie goes on for a long time.
Yeah.
It is listen, let's call a spade a spade. This movie's 2 hours and 15 minutes long. That's a real fucking problem.
It is a problem. I thought about your pre-apology last week for the second movie here. It meant a lot to me because you really, truly do feel length here. I mean, I thought the first one should have just been 90 minutes.
I mean, you're probably right. But, I mean, the first one...
This is really long.
Yeah, it was like an hour and 40 minutes without credits, the first one. And this one, I just think so much of the first one works because of how airy and throwaway it is. Like, it's so designed to be thrown on Netflix and you enjoy it and it's like just a real nice time. I think people are rewatching it just because it's like so inoffensive in every way. It's bright colors and fun songs and hot ladies and you know, built dudes and shit. And so, you know, it's a problem for this movie to be 2 hours and 15 minutes long. Maybe not for its core audience or whatever, but I think, like, the people that watched The Kissing Booth just because it was, like, a goofy summer time, like, are not going to come back for a 2 hour and 15 minute movie. It'd be like if they made Sharknado 2 2.5 hours long. People aren't going to watch it.
Yeah, it's really long. I mean, it also had, like, I kept thinking... The problem with movies like this that run too long and don't earn their time is it really does. You keep thinking it's going to end with certain climaxes, certain denouements, and then it just goes on to the next thing. And it's like, oh, Jesus, we didn't resolve that.
It's true. It ends on a cliffhanger of all things because there's going to be a third one next year that they already filmed.
Yeah.
All right, so Marco, they go see that an initials named MVP has beaten their high score in Dance Dance Revolution, Henry.
Right.
Did you have any doubt in your mind that this was Marco? They'd set up one new character with the name beginning with M.
I didn't. I knew that it was Marco. I didn't know that his name would be, the initials, the acronym MVP. But
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be him as the dancer, of course. Yes.
And so they start seeing this guy everywhere. He's just anywhere they go. They go to the mall, Henry, and he's out there busking on the street singing What I Like About You in Spanish. Did you enjoy that?
And that song, no, that song's already awful, and to hear it in Spanish didn't make it any better.
Okay. Meanwhile, there's a subplot with...
Semantics.
That's right. Lee and Rachel are having some troubles because now that Noah is in Boston, Elle's around all the fucking time. And Lee will not ask this girl to leave them alone. And he even lies. He lies to Rachel. I told her to leave us alone and she won't do it.
Yeah, and, a lot of shit can be given to Lee in this movie for all of his torrentially bad behavior. But Elle herself, I mean, what kind of third wheel pain in the ass does she have to be before she realizes she's impugning herself on this couple constantly?
She is selfish, but Lee is also a fucking maniac. He finally has a girlfriend.
Oh, absolutely.
He's got his best friend hanging on. Like, there's a way to separate those two fucking things.
Yeah. No, he does not handle it at all, which is terrible. I just thought that they could have shown Elle being a little bit more self-aware, being like, geez, maybe these guys want some private time. I mean,
She's
I'm
lonely,
fucking there
bro.
all
She's hung out with Lee every day for literally her entire life. They were born on the same day as it's established in the first one. Henry,
True,
so she doesn't know any other way to live.
Yeah, you're right. It's on him. It's totally on him. And, he's just a fucking heel, man. Everything this kid does,
He's an asshole.
He isolates his brother. He isolates Elle. He isolates Rachel. Rachel's like the unsung fucking saint of this movie. She should have dumped him.
I know. She's just like this gorgeous night. She has no faults. We never see anything wrong with her except that she gets annoyed about this. And that's not wrong. She's entitled to.
She's a dream. She's a dream.
Yeah, this fucking idiot.
He's bad.
It's
Bad
ridiculous.
stuff. Bad name, too. Never liked that name.
Lee?
Dumb name.
I guess. Lee Flynn. Flynn's a good name.
Yeah. Flynn's an Irish name. Lee works, I think, for a girl if it's like Leigh.
Like Lee Merriweather? That's Lee.
Yeah. Okay, but the Lee, that's Lee, yeah. But like Lee for like a guy. I mean, Lee Harvey Oswald.
That's a good one.
It's a great name.
Wait, who's another Lee?
I had one in my head when I was setting this up.
Jet Li.
Li, sure.
Yeah.
Li, that works.
The
Janet
Lehman
Lee.
Brothers.
Lehman Brothers. See what I mean? Yeah, just bad. Lee Atwater, terrible person.
Another good one, yeah.
Not a good name.
Lee Pace.
Why do I know that?
He's from Halt and Catch Fire and Pushing Daisies. Yeah.
We're forgetting a lot of actresses and actors with Lee in the middle name. There's got to be.
You think about it more. I'm going to get back to this great movie.
Me too.
All right, so Elle goes to visit Noah in Boston, and it's a fucking debacle, bro. At first, it's all right. They're hanging out. They're seeing the sights. They must have shot this in Boston because there's a lot of just, like, random scenes of them going, like, look, the harbor.
Yeah, they got out of... They flew from South Africa over to Cambridge just to shoot some scenes.
Yeah.
Save some money.
There is a sex scene, the very chaste sex scene. He grabs her in the bra. And then,
Grabs her in the bra.
yeah. Then, so Elle is worried about this new girl played by Maisie Richardson Sellers from Legends of Tomorrow, superhero account. And
Nice.
so she has somehow, she finds an earring under Lee's bed that belongs to this girl. So she's worried that they're cheating, bro. And she looks at his phone, and they're texting like crazy, dude.
Yeah, this was a big problem, I think, because I mean, you really have to think about. I thought there'd be a plausible explanation at the end for this closeness and her another completely blind to anything. I mean, they try to explain it away at the end at the airport with Chloe, and just basically saying, "Oh, she's not into him. She's immune to his charms." But I honestly thought at the end of the movie there was going to be like, and it wouldn't have been stupid, to be perfectly honest, in a movie like this. I thought there was going to be like a reveal that like she's like a lesbian or something. Because what other explanation? These two hot people are in college dorms together getting drunk every night. Like, what? It was so ridiculous. And you know what I mean?
It's funny that you say that, Henry, because there is a subplot, there's a gay subplot in this movie involving two totally fucking random characters that you've never given a shit about before, and you still don't at the end of this movie. It's just this sort of weird gay love story on the side, I guess, so that the Kissing Booth 2 can get like woke points on Twitter or something.
Some cred.
But I mean, it's fine, but it's ridiculous, and it just adds time to this already ridiculously long movie. But because of that subplot, like, didn't seem to fit into me, I was wondering whether fucking Marco was going to turn out to be gay and end up with one of these dudes.
That had occurred to me early on in the movie, but I kind of lost that notion.
Well, because once they enter the dance contest together, which I don't... Can we talk about this dance contest? Because it's affiliated with Dance Dance Revolution. But it seems to be a freestyle dance, and to me, but they're doing it on a Dance Dance Revolution like game board.
Okay.
But
right, yeah.
The point of Dance Dance Revolution is to follow the moves that are happening on the screen and to reenact them perfectly. So what does it make sense to do a freestyle Dance Dance Revolution contest where they're able to dance to whatever the fuck they want, but they still have to do it on a Dance Dance Revolution floor?
That is really funny you brought that up, because I had dismissed that as like something I was going to talk about, but it did occur to me. I was like, I thought that, like, because they're arguing about it. Marco keeps telling her, just be free. Like, just be free. Just do it from your heart. And she's like all into the steps. And I'm like, well, she's actually right.
And every time they cut to the screen when they're practicing, it says like, perfect score or whatever. And it's like, but what are they trying to mimic? They're coming up with these steps. Was it perfect when they kissed? I
don't know. I'm imagining that in between his backflips, he's just able to land on the perfect square every time.
Yeah,
That's what I rationalized.
How can the video... Okay. And also, the video game is supposed to gauge how well they're doing, right? Why... At the fucking dance contest, is there like an American Idol style panel of judges?
I don't know. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. There's 50 grand riding on this.
It's in a fucking arena.
Yeah, it
looks like it's at the fucking Staples Center, this thing.
Yeah. Well, what? She needs the 50 grand because she wants to go to Harvard, but she can't tell Lee because he won't let her go to a college because that breaks their friend rule.
There, rule number 6 or whatever is you always have to go to the same school with your bestie. I reject that shit.
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't be able to be friends with my best friend. My best friend's like a genius scientist. I can't get into his shit.
Thanks for speaking to me like that. I never thought of myself as a scientist, but I guess, you could certainly throw that moniker on me. But, one of the things that's very funny... I can get into
your schools, Henry.
I could get into yours.
I know.
I don't know if I could have gotten to Hunter.
You could have got into Hunter. What'd you get on your SATs?
Oh, I blew my SATs. I played AC/DC on my SATs. I didn't care. Because I didn't think I was going to college, so I went as a perfunctory thing, didn't study. And
You're so cool. That's so stupid, dude.
I didn't want to do it. I had no interest. I was very clear from the start, and I just kind of had to do it. Yeah.
Henry, you needed me back then. I help you try harder.
Hey, I got into the University of Pittsburgh anyway, despite my terrible SAT.
Terrible.
School. That's a good school. It's a very prestigious school, you know, Pitt. You're aware of that, right?
Prestigious?
Sure. Not like Carnegie Mellon or Harvard, but it's a good school. Anyway, it's not the point here. The point is that here I have a question. I thought about this during the movie. She's worried about, and she even talks to her dad about financing, you know, how's he going to pay for school? And he says, well, I thought you were going to go to Berkeley. Now, I'm no mathematician or tuitionologist, and I know Harvard's very expensive, but Berkeley is not a community college. Is that not also an extraordinarily expensive school?
I don't know that they're talking about the Berkeley that exists in real life, because they say they seem to present it as though it's a state school.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, like it's the University of California at Berkeley or something.
Oh, so maybe it's like an outreach campus of the real Berkeley.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. It's a landfill.
I mean, what happens? Lee says I love you to Rachel on the loudspeaker. They got the Cures close to me for that scene. That was exciting for me. Marco performed again at the Halloween dance. He was in the band. What happens? There's a montage to Build Me Up Buttercup. I couldn't believe we were still doing that in 2020.
I just thought immediately of There's Something About Mary.
Me too.
And I was also waiting for this happened to me a couple of times. Whenever there was actually the original version of a song, I was very surprised. Because I kept thinking we were doing, you know, new remakes of songs and.
Oh yeah. Actually, when Close to Me first popped up, I assumed it was a cover, and then I was blown away. It wasn't the original; it was the remixed single version that they put out.
Okay, but Build Me Up Buttercup, and then there was another one that was like an R&B song. I think it was in the first one. It was, I was like, wow, they used the original song. I can't believe it. Yeah,
they really go for it here.
Yeah,
all right, so at the contest, they give a great dance performance, Henry. It was really top-notch. And at this point, Elle thinks that she and Noah are pretty much broken up and that he's fucking this Legend of Tomorrow. But it turns out that he is actually in the audience watching. And at the end of the dance, they kiss, my friend. And they win the contest, but then she sees Lee in the audience. He is upset, my friend, and meanwhile, Lee also decides he hates her because he finds her application to Harvard and is like, "Oh, you're not going to school with me, you dumb bitch!" Like he's such a little prick. This kid.
He really is. There's not much about him that is likable. There's nothing about him that's likable, really.
I think Tuppen should kick the shit out of him.
Make some Tupperware out of him.
Nice, bro. So then there's like this awkward Thanksgiving scene where everything comes to a head and they all get in a fight, but then they all make up at homecoming.
Where it reminded me of one. You like to do this every once in a while, so I'll do it. One of Ebert's old tropes, right? Where everything could be resolved in that one sequence at the table with like one sentence from a protagonist. And
the idiot plot.
Yeah, the idiot plot.
There are so many misunderstandings in the Kissing Booth too.
Yeah, it's like it's farcical.
Yeah,
it reminded me of The Thin Man.
Lee wins Homecoming King.
Yeah, that was hard to believe. He's the least likable person in high school, but they all vote for him anyway.
Did you notice that? Did you notice who the Homecoming Queen was, Henry? They don't announce it, but she's just sitting there wearing the crown. It's the black OMG girl.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah,
that was another reference.
Great nod to diversity from the Kissing Booth too.
Yeah, it was great stuff.
But listen, this is the first movie I've ever seen that. They always give Homecoming Queen to either the female star of the movie or to the most popular, like the head of like the girls.
Yeah, I mean, but Jesus, could we be any more token? I mean, they give it to the one black girl in the cast, and they don't even give her a line when she gets. I know
they don't even get. You don't even get to see her win.
No, she's like in the side frame on the left. Oof.
It is pretty bad. Okay, so then they graduate high school and the movie ends. She gets into Harvard as well as Berkeley. Where's she going to go in the next movie? Very exciting stuff. Can't wait for next year. We'll cover it. I give this film a 2.
Okay, went down a notch for you. We're staying right where we are at a 1 since we can't go any lower. Thoroughly unpleasant, generally all the way through.
I enjoyed this movie, but I don't see myself going back to it. Like, I can totally see myself going next summer, or like, in a few years when we're done covering it for the podcast. I could see myself going to watch The Kissing Booth and not putting on the second one. Yeah. That said, if the third one is a leg up, then it might make for a really great trilogy with just a sagging middle chapter.
Well, that's what we wait to find out on the franchise.
That's right.
My MVP and LVP.
I'm excited.
Both movies. All right. LVP is Lee.
Yeah, of course. He's my LVP in this one for sure.
Okay. And my MVP is Rachel.
She's my MVP in this one. You just feel for her, man.
Yeah, I like her. I think she's a good actress.
She's a nobody. I feel like they just hired some random actress, and they weren't sure whether she was going to really be a character or not. But she had a lot to do in this one. I thought she handled it well.
And it's a pretty thankless role.
Very.
I mean, she's all her to do is sulk and cry, and she manages to not be annoying, and you feel bad for her. So
yeah, in the last movie, all that she got to do was be supportive on Lee's arm and shit, and she pulled that off. And then in this one, all she gets to do is be bummed out about Elle and shit.
Yeah, no, I liked her. She's a very cute person and a decent actress. So yeah,
great stuff, Henry. What do you want to? Oh, we're done. We're done with The Kissing Booth, Henry. I rank these 1, 2. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.